Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Union Bartenders. This story takes place in a casino located in a Canadian province where I currently work. All staff are technically government employees. For reasons I don't fully understand, we are also unionized, even in restaurant roles. That means I'm a bartender in a unionized, government-run environment. There are 3 full-time bartenders. I've worked in bars and managed them for decades, and I can say without hesitation that this is the lowest I've ever been paid in the service industry. That said, the position does come with a pension and benefits, which are hard to pass up. The workload is demanding. We work hard behind the bar, while watching floor servers finish their shifts and count out hundreds of dollars in tips. Bartenders only earn what comes through the bar directly. Meanwhile, servers are only required to tip out 2% of drink sales. Often they'll toss us a few coins or common things like, "It was only 50 cents, but I rounded up to $1 because you earned it." Despite these remarks, the collective bargaining agreement clearly states that bartenders are not permitted to serve tables. The servers remind us of this often. However, they also expect us to run food, clear and clean their tables, and support them in other ways. Still tipping only the exact minimum. That's one side of it. Then there's management. Servers frequently leave the floor to smoke, use their phones, or simply take extended breaks. When they do, bartenders are left to pick up the slack. We are supposed to get 2 15-minute breaks and 1 30-minute break during each shift. We rarely receive them. Management refuses to hire more bartenders due to budgetary constraints. And when we raise concerns, we are told the floor is the server's responsibility, and that if we have issues we should file a grievance. So we did. The 3 of us bartenders sat down with union representatives and reviewed every detail of the CBA. We clarified what our roles are, what the servers' roles are, and what management is responsible for. We printed out and highlighted key points, and now keep laminated copies behind the bar for reference. Then we put it all into practice. Servers used to walk behind the bar freely to grab drinks, ice or glassware for their tables. We stopped that. According to the CBA, they are not bartenders and cannot access our space. We simply let them know we'll get to their requests as soon as possible. We also began taking our scheduled breaks, as required. When we do, all bar service stops. That includes drinks, restocking or handling glassware. Because of this, management now has to step in and man the bar while we are on break. They are required to follow house drink procedures and use proper glassware, which has proven to be challenging for them. While we are on break, we enjoy some downtime, reading or relaxing, while management fulfills the duties they previously ignored. It's only been a few weeks, but there's already been a shift. Servers seem to be adjusting their expectations. More significantly, 2 new bartenders are now in training, with 2 more hires on the way. It appears the message has been received. The next story is called No Excuses. Back in the late 1980s, I was working at a pharmacy during my summer break from college. I was hired full-time for the season and happened to be the only young full-time employee and the only male among a group of women, most of whom were older and working part-time or around family schedules. According to the schedule, my half-hour lunch break was supposed to begin at noon. But for some reason, my assigned relief never showed up on time. No matter how many times I paged them, I often ended up waiting 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or even over an hour. I didn't make a big deal about it and never complained. Then came Friday of that first week. I finally went on my break just after 1 p.m. And while I was in the break room, the store manager came in. She told me that she had received multiple complaints about how I was messing up everyone else's break schedule. I tried to explain that my relief wasn't showing up when they were supposed to, but she interrupted me before I could finish. She firmly said, "Starting next week I want you back on main register at 12:30 sharp. No excuses." So the following Monday, I adjusted my approach. I began paging my relief at 11:45 AM, just to be proactive. By 11:55, I called for someone to open the second register, even though there was only one customer in line. I locked up the main register, secured the cash drawer, and punched out for my break at exactly noon. About 10 minutes later, the store manager came rushing into the break room, clearly frustrated. She asked, "Why is the main register closed? There's a line. What's going on?" I calmly reminded her, "On Friday, you told me to be off the main register at noon sharp. No excuses." She responded, "That's not what I said." So I asked, "Didn't you say I need to be back on main register at 12:30 sharp? No excuses?" She paused and confirmed, "Yes, that's what I said." I followed up with, "And my break is half an hour, right?" There was another pause. Eventually she sighed and asked, "Can you please punch back in and help with the line? I'll find someone to cover you." After that, my relief consistently arrived 5 minutes before noon for the rest of the summer. The last story is called In Your Room. I started teaching over 20 years ago. This takes place around May of 2004. It was my first year teaching at a high school, and since I was the newest teacher, I was assigned to a portable classroom, basically a mobile trailer setup behind the main building. These portables are meant to be temporary solutions, usually used during overcrowding or emergencies. The problem was, this was in Florida, where the weather is either hot or hotter. That year, the air conditioning unit in my portable couldn't keep up. On top of that, insulation in the portable had been damaged during a hurricane the year before, and it still hadn't been repaired. As a result, the inside of my classroom was hotter than standing outside in the shade. After a few miserable days, I made the decision to move class out into the courtyard. For a couple of days, I taught math lessons outside under the trees. Eventually, one of the assistant principals noticed and asked to speak with me. He asked why I was teaching outside, and I explained the situation. His response? "Teach in your classroom." I tried to offer alternatives. Maybe the media center? Maybe the front office could call my cell in an emergency? Still, the response was, "Teach in your assigned classroom." So that weekend, I went to the hardware store. I picked up a 50-gallon trash can, a standing fan, a small water pump, and some copper tubing. I zip-tied the tubing to the fan, ran chilled water through it using the pump, and filled the trash can with ice and water from the cafeteria. By Monday morning, I had created a basic do-it-yourself cooling system. It wasn't perfect, but it circulated cooler air and it made the classroom bearable. When my first period students arrived, they were excited. Some of them joked that I was a mad scientist. I told them it was just basic thermodynamics. By third period, the whole student body seemed to know about it. Word was spreading. About a week and a half later, I got called back into the office. Why am I getting phone calls from parents about some science experiment in your math class? Apparently, students had told their parents about my homemade air conditioner. I explained it simply. Our classroom AC didn't work. You told me to teach in the classroom, so I made it work. I was told to disassemble the system. Strangely enough, by the very next day, a newer, better AC unit had been installed in my portable. The principal was upset that I had made the school look bad, and she chose not to renew my contract for the following year. I had to find a new job. Fast forward to today. My son now goes to that same high school. And yes, those same portables are still in use. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.